Welcome, everyone. It's Thursday night on the party line, and I'm really excited to have a newcomer to the party line is Sharon Zientara, who has done this in- really great crochet book. And I love um, I have to say, the cover on this book just makes you want to pick it up and flip through it. But I want everybody first to help me welcome Sharon to the party line. So welcome to your first party line event, Sharon.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, you're on the West Coast, so it's cocktail hour for you. And here on the
Indeed.
yeah, and here on the East Coast, we're starting to get ready for bed, unless you're a night owl, which I'm not. So welcome and thanks for joining us to talk about your book, which is just absolutely gorgeous. Since you haven't been here before, tell us a little bit how you got started with crochet and fiber.
So my dirty little secret is that I actually began mainly as a knitter. I've been knitting since I was 8 years old.
You should not be ashamed of that.
And I began working for Interweave as I was Uni Jang's intern. And I was working in retail clothing, managing a retail clothing store. And I went to school for English, and I was knitting on every break and on every, all the time. And I started working for Uni, and the first position that came open was a crochet one. So I did like basic chain stitches and single crochets when I was a kid. My mom is a very, very good crocheter, and I just retaught myself how to crochet about 5 years ago to work for Interweave Crochet. So.
Which is a beautiful magazine. They take crochet to a different level. It's really really lovely. But you're not there now. What are you doing now?
So currently, I'm running a 6,000 square foot craft space for Skacel. Karin Skacel, the CEO of Skacel Knitting, owns the shop, and then her daughter Riley is a pastry chef who is celiac. So we have a gluten-free bakery, and since we're in Seattle, we also have amazing coffee. And it's a giant space with everything from obviously lots of yarn and Addy needles, the most miraculous Addy needle wall you'll ever see in your entire life. And and then we also carry fabrics. We have a sewing studio. We have a giant lounge for crafters. And then we have felting, and we teach classes on everything that we have here in the shop. So it's a pretty amazing space. And when I heard that this was happening, I jumped on it. And Karin moved me out here to Seattle about a year and a half ago to run the place. So.
Yeah, and just the idea of 6,000 square feet of crafty goodness it makes my heart pound. So, who wouldn't go to Washington for that? That's really Trisha says she wants a donut and coffee right now that you've started something here. So, with the idea of bakery, and actually, we'll after we talk about the book, we'll show everybody kind of what the Maker's Mercantile is all about, which is just I think it's every crafter's dream to actually to be able to open something like that. And yeah, so I'm sure Karen Skacel is a happy person too. So because we all want that. And I wish it were next door to me is all I can say. So tell us about how the idea for the book came about.
Actually, I was in sort of like a one-on-one conference with Marcy Smith. She's the editor of Interweave Crochet, and she had asked me what my 5-year plan was. And one thing that I loved about Interweave Crochet is that I felt like there wasn't a giant amount of offerings for sophisticated crochet things out there in the universe. And the knitting market felt so saturated with all these great pattern writers and offerings and independent patterns and magazine patterns, and it's just awash with a lot of great stuff. And one of my favorite books from Interweave was always Boutique Knits, and so it was my idea to sort of make a book for crocheters that was along the same lines as Boutique Knit, something where if you were to go into like any sort of retail store like an Anthropologie or, like Free People, or, a lot of crochet was popping up on runways and in boutique style shops, and I wanted to make a book that had patterns that you could actually make yourself, that you might find in stores like that. So.
Yeah, and Kate M says she loves the scarf you're currently wearing and wants to know if it's in the book.
It is. This is one of my favorite patterns from the book. It's Shawl Vignette. Actually, one of my customers crocheted this for me and brought it in just a couple days ago. So it's it's the Shawl Vignette by Natasha Robarge. It's one of the most beautiful shawls ever.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous. And for the people who come back and watch this later, unfortunately, it does not capture her live video, so you'll just have to buy the book to find it. So there you have it. And Musker says that the shawl you're wearing is amazing, which I agree, it's really beautiful. So should we take a little look at preview the book?
Let's do it.
I think we should do it. Personally, I think we should do it. So let me drag this down and so we get a good picture. And let me turn off the navigator. Okay, so tell us about this cover project with these wristlets. First, I absolutely adore the color. It's just so fresh and they're just beautiful. So tell us about this project.
So this is a design by one of my rare crochet real life friends, Brenda KB Anderson. She's a wonderful crocheter and she has a book out herself. And this was based upon the idea of like a braided rug, like a vintage braided rug. It's in the mod section, so kind of like a 60s kitschy rug pattern. And she turned it into a pair of arm warmers, which is so cool. And they're really simple. It's probably one of the best patterns in the book for a beginning crocheter. I've already seen a couple great versions come into my shop already from people who just started to crochet within the last month or so. So it's a really great, easy, and fun project. To see it work up is exciting too.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like a beginner's pattern, which is kind of the magic of it. That it looks a lot more complicated. And I always love projects where it's very little work, but people think that you have mad skills because they don't do it themselves. And those are the best projects. So, but yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So now the book is divided into different sections. Tell us how that happened and how you came up with the different groups.
I have always had sort of these three fashion eras as three of my favorite eras throughout history, and I think you always see them coming back for good reason. And even if you go to any clothing store nowadays, or if you're into runway stuff, you see these kind of elements always continue to pop back up. And I'm a girl, so I have many moods, and so there are different moods for the book, just like that. And so I just wanted to make three distinct stories to sort of match that feeling.
Yes, girls are allowed to have many moods. It's part of our charm, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So this first group is Art Nouveau, and and Trisha said that purse looks like embroidery, which is it's really really amazing. Which Kate says she thinks the purse is amazing, and Musker's like the bottom right shawl. So tell us about these projects that we're looking at now.
So the one on the upper left is by my friend Kathy Merrick, and she is known for her amazing motif projects. She loves Japanese stitch pattern books and just any kind of like foreign stitch patterns. And so the original concept behind the design was just the chrysanthemums, and I wanted something that had more wearability factor, and so I asked her if she could make a shawlette out of it. And she, just sight unseen, she just sent me this, and it was amazing. So Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the upper left-hand corner, and it's this really beautiful chrysanthemum motif that you can even just make like a corsage or a, like a pin for your hair or something out of it and separate the element and do something else with it. But so that's that pattern, and I love it. And it's
It's
a
beautiful.
really delicious yarn. It's Madeline Tosh Pashmina, which is
Oh,
one of my favorite. It's
oh,
so yummy.
yeah. Very yummy.
um,
I have some in my
and
stash. I feel it all the time. I stroke it.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
it's
beautiful.
really beautiful. And their colors are amazing, and it's really great. So, and then the hat that is a little flapper cloche, which was definitely a must-have. I think when I sent out my call for submissions, I had like a lot of flapper hats in there because I knew I had to have one of those. And so that one's by Christina Mershon, and it's again in a really yummy streaming color, smooshy with cashmere, and it's like just amazing yarn. The
Yeah, I did
color,
a
it's like a
sweater in
watercolor
that last
painting.
year, and that yarn is unbelievable. It's so nice, but the just the color variations in it are so pretty.
Yeah, it's a beautiful yarn. And then the purse is an amazing thing by my friend Sarah Reed, who's actually the project editor for Nouveau Crochet. And what I love about it is that back in the day, that purse would probably have been made with like size 80 thread or something very tiny. And this is actually a fingering weight cotton yarn, so it's not as intense as it could be. And she drafted the prosperity like chart herself, made it up,
Mm.
and it's not as intense as it looks, although there are a lot of ends to carry it tapestry. So, but
Well,
you can actually, you don't even have to
maybe
weave it
not a
in.
beginner's project if you're just learning how to crochet.
Not a beginner, but the good part is that it's a lined purse, so you really wouldn't have to weave in all your ends. You could just hide them by lining fabric, and no one would ever know.
Okay, well that works. If you can't see them, they don't count. And yeah,
Exactly.
Kate's saying she likes that the book has many designers work in it. It says they're all unique, but they fit together. And I think I love books where where there are other designers working on it, and it's you just you get to tap into all that talent, which is really nice. The next one, I have to say, this model looks like Chelsea Clinton to me. I don't know why, but I can, yeah, whatever. So now, is this a shawl or is this a shrug she's wearing?
On the bottom right,
Yes.
it's a shawl, but it actually could be broken down into just the top part of it, and you could easily probably make it into a shrug with a button. This one is by a French designer, Annette Patavi, and she's a knitwear and a crochet designer. And she was inspired by a French painter and sort of just like sent me this amazing sketch that was exactly this shawl. And I was like, wrap it up, do it.
Yeah,
um,
it's
so you could
it's
actually
beautiful.
make this smaller or bigger depending on what you wanted to do.
Yeah, it's really pretty, and that's one of my favorite crochet stitches is that open kind of loop, which I've used on trimming things, and it's just I don't know, there's just something really magical about it. So 60s mod, I was actually alive in the 60s.
Awesome.
I think there are other people in in the room, in the live room that were alive in the 60s, and so kind of makes me wish I'd held on to some of those accessories from then because they're definitely in style. So, talk to us about the projects we're looking at here.
So this was secretly one of my just like the indulgent favorite part. I love color and I love the 60s. And so this was like my guilty pleasure story. The top left is actually a really cool pattern by Robin Chichula. It's completely reversible. And it's another one of those projects that looks really complicated, but you never actually are working with more than one color at a time. Um, so it looks like color work, but it's not intense color work. It's just one color per row, which is super cool. And she's really known for coming up with really interesting stitch patterns like that.
Yeah, and Kate says she loves Robin, and Robin is actually an alum here at the Party Line. She was here, I think, for her last book that she came to see us about. But and I say the 60s are getting a lot of love in the room. So Tricia says she has to make these hand warmers. I agree. And Candy loves the bag, and Kate loves the flower on the bag. And Musker says it is time to get out those bell bottoms. I still have
Indeed.
them. Yeah. Probably a little old for the hip hugger version, but yeah, I love bell bottoms. So yeah, so the scarf is so pretty, and it's one of those projects that looks more complicated than it is. So hopefully people won't be even people like me who are casual crocheters. I think that's within the scope of what we can do. And then of course we have the arm warmers, which so now we have the other view on the side, and you can really see the kind of that I had them in my house when I was a kid. Those braided rugs, and you really
Mhm.
see that inspiration. Of course, none of ours were those really pretty colors. And so now is no, not at all. So is the bag, is it felted or not? It's hard to tell from the picture I'm looking at. Is the bag felted, Sharon? Oh, did we lose Sharon's sound? Sharon, come back to us, Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Oh, there you
Can you hear?
are. Yeah,
Okay.
we lost you for a second. Your video froze and you were gone. So I was asking, I can't tell from the picture, and I didn't read this pattern to see, is the bag felted or not felted?
Yeah, so the cool part about the bag is that it's the body part of the bag is felted, and then the flower is actually needle felted onto the felted bag.
Oh, cool.
Needle felting is really simple. It's just a barbed needle, and you just stab. It's a good way to get your frustrations out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and actually for people who haven't done needle felting before, I have, I think, a 3-part video on needle felting on our YouTube channel and on Planetpurl. So it's
Cool.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Just keep your fingers out of the way because those needles feel hurt like hell when you pull them out because of the barbs.
I do.
Yeah,
I've
they
made
do.
that mistake before.
Oh yeah. I mean, you might bleed for the project, but it'll be worth it, and just keep the blood off the project and you're okay. So, yeah, so that's so cute. And actually in the 60s, I had a bag with the big flower on it. So, it definitely is time appropriate to that. So, and then this little scarf, I just adore the color palette on there. It's so pretty. Tell us about that.
Thank you. So that's the one design that I actually decided to include. I had a hard time. I had a lot of other ideas, and every submission that I got was so good that I would much rather have put someone else's stuff in there than mine. So I felt like I needed just as like I had to put one of my things in there, but it was really hard. So it's actually only two yarns. It's the solid neutral color, and then it's a self-striping yarn called Unisono that literally, as long as you can get gauge, you it just magically works up like that with the stripes. So it's just a really simple chevron pattern, and you just have to get gauge, and that's all you need. And that yarn has like 30 different self-striping colors, so there's a lot of different.
Wow. Yeah, and the colors are just beautiful. I mean, even for people who live, I spend a good part of the year in Florida at my home, my real home, and then up in the mountains. But this is something that you could use even in hot weather places. And I love being able to wear a little bit of something handmade. And Kate says it's very cool, which I agree. That's just really pretty. Yeah, that project just speaks to me. I love the palette. So, and then Boho Chic, which, you know, this just never goes out of style. I think there's a reason. There's a reason. I think the free spirited kind of boho thing speaks to all of us, regardless of our age. So tell us about these projects.
So the hat in the upper left-hand corner is by a wonderful designer named Beth Nielsen, and she makes a lot of really great contemporary stuff. And it like a bamboo and silk blend, and it
Ooh.
just has tiny little beads around the crown. So it actually was supposed to kind of look like a headband on a neutral background, like a little hippie type of headband.
Yes. I mean, it's so pretty. And I could see that even in graphic colors with a bead that, stands out, that it would, I mean, just gorgeous, just gorgeous. So, um, it says, yeah, Kate says, are there more projects in the book? Oh yeah. I didn't, this is only a sampling, Kate. This, because she's looking for the scarf you're wearing, Sharon. So this is just a sampling of the projects. So that's not all of them. There's plenty more. I pick and choose. I want to get a nice sample. So tell us about the other projects on this page.
So the little top is a really great little linen blend top that you could easily wear over like a dress or a tunic like they're showing here. You could just make it longer and wear it like a full on dress. You could wear it over like a maxi dress, or you could wear it over a spring or summer dress and just make it a little longer.
Yeah, or even over a slip dress if you made it longer, it'd be pretty. Is
Yeah,
who?
all of a sudden crops are a big thing right now. So we left it cropped, but I think you could easily make it longer. I always feel like I'm missing the bottom half of my shirt and I'm like yanking down on it. So I would make it longer personally.
And who designed this?
This is by Mimi Alelis, and this is another one of my favorite parts about doing this book with other designers is that I literally got to work with people from all corners of the world. Mimi is in the Philippines. The designer whose mittens are right next door is in Japan. I had a designer in Ireland. I had one in Saudi Arabia. I was literally sending yarn to all corners of the world, and that was one of my most favorite things. That I might not ever meet these people, but we got to work together, and that was really cool for me.
Wow. Yeah, and well, it just shows you that, knitting and crochet are things that bring people together from everywhere, which is we have a universal sisterhood and brotherhood of knitters and crocheters, which is very cool. So, and the kind of cable design on these mittens is really beautiful. Tell us about this project.
So this is by a designer that I've been following for a really long time, and I totally didn't think that she would even answer my phone calls or emails. Her design name is Kazukobo, and you may have seen her in the Vogue crochet issues if you have ever seen the Vogue knitting special issue for
For
crochet, and
crochet.
she also does knitwear design. Yoko Hata is also another name that she publishes under, and she literally just sent me a chart for this design, and it's just the most beautiful, miraculous looking thing ever. Um, Japanese designers, generally, there are no words in Japanese crochet patterns. They're just arrows in which direction to put the hook and symbols, and that's it. And that's what this was. And then it turned into a really amazing pair of mittens.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I know their knitting patterns are like that too. They're just all a chart. They don't give written directions, which is okay with me, but I think it can be intimidating. So, and then these knee highs with the open work on the back. Oh, it's funny. Moosker said she walked away for a second and came back and saw that hat and she wants it. So that's what happens when you leave. Things happen, Mooskers. So tell us about these gorgeous socks.
So this is another brilliant design by my friend Brenda KB Anderson. So little backstory, cool thing about Brenda is that her honest to goodness full-time job is designing Muppets on Ice and Sesame Street on Ice mascots.
Oh my gosh.
I've been to her workshop. It's in Minneapolis, and she literally designs with the foundation. So she just thinks dimensionally, and all of her designs are like that, like the braided rug sort of on the cover. And the pineapple is actually what shapes your calf, like shapes around your calf, and so that's why she designed the pineapple right there. And so her mind is just so brilliant and thinks dimensionally, and that what the foundation was for this dock, and they're so great and beautiful and not as difficult as you might seem, although they will be labor intensive because it's a knee high. But
Yeah, there's just a lot of real estate to create on knee highs. That's
yeah.
all. But Kate says these are really cool, which I agree. They're just and clever and really pretty. So that was just a sample of the projects in the book. So I think everybody in the room found at least two things they want to make. So you can only
Good.
imagine what else is in the book. So you definitely this if you don't win today, because of course we'll give away a book today. But if you don't win today, yeah, this is a definite addition to your library. So now I know you guys are going to want to follow Sharon because her adventures in crochet are well documented on the internet. So, first Sharon does a blog for Crochet Me, which is this is the interweave crochet site, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if you go to Crochet Me, you will and blogs, and you'll find Sharon there. She blogs on Interweave site, and then 6,000 square feet of crafty goodness. This is Sharon's day job at Maker's Mercantile, which is owned by um, Karen. Crap. Karen's last name is
Gazelle.
Skazal, right? So that you will probably recognize as the Addy Turbo needles, as well as um, great yarns, and a lot of imported German yarns are come through Skazal. So this is her shop that is managed by our guest today, and this this is just happy browsing for people who love fiber arts of any kind. So you'll definitely want to check this out and bookmark it on your browser. And then, of course, you're going to want to do what I do, which is you're going to go over and to Facebook, and you are going to like this page, and you'll be able to keep up with um, all kinds of craft things that are going on and get inspired. So definitely check that out on Facebook. It's a Makers hyphen Mercantile on Facebook. And for those who are on Ravelry, you can check out Sharon's patterns, which are available for download, including my favorite little cow there. But since I have the book, I don't have to do that. Lucky me. And then Pinterest, which is just one of my favorite places to browse and spend hours and hours on, is fun. So yeah, and I'll say the people in the room will think you've got a dream job. By the way, just the idea of being surrounded by all that craft stuff and energy and crafty energy is just, I can't imagine spending my day like that. Well, I can't imagine it. It would be nice. So, but it's okay. I don't live in Washington. I don't want your job. So, yeah. And actually, Trisha was saying as we flashed through the website there at Maker's Mercantile, she saw lots of stuff she loves and she thinks she's going to get into trouble. So, which you probably will. So, and then you can check out Sharon on Pinterest and see the things that inspires her, all kinds of, and crafty goodness on here as well. So, and that would be right here on Pinterest. So if you search for Sharon, you'll find her there. So I know you guys all want this book, and for a good reason. And we're all about celebrating and supporting our local yarn store. So that is your first resource, always, always, always. And if they don't carry this book for some crazy reason and they're not going to carry it, then you know what to do, because you're going to help support Planetpurl with the tiny little commission we get through Amazon. Go over to our books which is this little click right here, which takes you to the books, and you'll find that Girl Crochet would happen to be the most recent addition to our list here, and help support Planetpurl and pay for the interface and things like that for the meetings that we have. So I want to thank you, Sharon, for taking time out of cocktail hour over on the West Coast, because we know you'd be drinking wine if you weren't here. So we could only wish. And that and for sharing your book with us. It's really it's a work of art. So, and hopefully it will encourage people to, especially knitters, pick up the crochet needle and not to be afraid of it. The pattern on the front would be enough to do that for most, I think. So, yeah. So, yes, many thank yous are coming through the room. So, of course, people in the room, stay on the line. You know what's coming next. I'm going to give away a book. So, Sharon, what's next for you? What are you up to now?
Well, my next book with Interweave is coming out next May. It's a series. Candice Gray is doing the knitted version for Interweave. It's the 3 Skeins or Less series that we're coming out with.
She'll be coming
It's
back.
a great series.
She'll be coming back to talk about it. I have to tell you, Tanis is the official queen of the party line. She has been our most frequent guest. So you have to come back a lot, because it's the only way you're going to knock her off the queen pedestal.
Okay, so there's that one, and then I can't talk about it, but there might be another book in the series of 3 Skeins or Less after 3 Skeins or Less crochet. So look for that one coming out next year, but there's another one in the works.
Well, good. And Lisa Anderson just said that this is a definite must for her library. She's got at least 5 patterns she wants to make. So,
oh, great.
And that's just a sample, Lisa. Wait till you see the whole book. It's really awesome. So we hope you come back and talk to us about the 3 Skeins or Less crochet. And
I'd love to.
Because, Tanis is going to come and talk about the knitted one. So we got to give crochet equal time. So you'll have to come back and talk to us about that. And we'll look forward to seeing your next book. So thank you so much, Sharon. And
yeah, thank you.
Everybody else, stick around, because I'm